What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be learning how to digitally extend our sky so that our subject has enough headroom. It's actually really easy, and you know, because I make things so easy, maybe you could just slap that like button for me, and let's get into the video.
You've got to just do what you love.
Okay, so here's a shot that we're starting with. This is a clip of our lovely model, Anna. She's doing a nice little twirl in her beautiful dress. I did actually export this with a speed ramp on, if you are wondering. So I'm not saying that this clip is bad or wrong, but after I shot this, I realized I really just wish she had just a little more headroom. And honestly, that's just a subjective taste, but sometimes you might run into it where you thought you shot it correctly and you need to extend the headroom. There's many ways to do this, but this is a very easy trick. You don't need any plugins. Let's get right into it. So here's our clip. How do we extend the sky? If you can see, there's no more room in this clip. We need to add sky above her head to give her more headroom to look something more like this. Much better and much more dynamic shot as well with the zoom out, which I'll get to in a second. How do we do this? So first off, we're gonna take our clip, right click, nest. I always use keyboard shortcuts. I've set mine to N. Immediately nest it, hit okay. We hop into the nest. So our nested sequence is the exact same resolution size as our original sequence, 4K 3840 by 2160 or whatever, Ultra HD. Go ahead and comment below that I got that wrong, so I know what kind of person you are. No, I'm just kidding. I love all of you that are on this channel, all of you. For our purposes, how we're going to do this is we're going to actually double the height of the sequence. So 2160 times 2 is 4,320 off the top of the head, off the rip. Let me make sure, yeah, that's correct. So we have now, just click OK. We have now duplicated the size of the sequence. So technically we could fit 2 of these clips on top of each other, if that makes sense. You're wondering, why do we need to fit 2 clips on top of each other? Well, that's how we're gonna extend the sky. Let's keep going. So our next step is we're going to push this clip all the way to the bottom of this sequence. Just zoom in here, huh? There is probably a more scientific way of doing this. There we go. 3240 is that. I feel like there's a way to know exactly how to like nudge it to the bottom with no pixel below or above. But I'm not that smart, I guess. Okay, so now that our clip is at the bottom of this double height nested sequence, the way that we're going to be adding sky, the easiest way is to just duplicate the sky that's already above her head. So we're gonna be duplicating the clip. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to be vertically flipping it. So now it's flipped, and then we're gonna move this all the way on top, and you can see just about there. So essentially we're just mirroring the clips on top of each other, and this right off the rip duplicates our headroom. However, if we go back into our YouTube sequence, it's showing the exact middle of our nested sequence. So what we're gonna do is just take our nested sequence and just move it up. So just to give you a quick visual representation of what we're doing, our nested sequence, we've duplicated the height, we've duplicated the clip, and mirrored the sky. So now we have extra pixels. When we go back to our original sequence, we're now viewing that double height sequence through the lens of our original 16:9 sequence, 3840 by 2160. This allows us to take the nested sequence and move it down along the y-axis, revealing those additional pixels that we added, effectively giving us more headroom. Stick around because I'll show you how to give yourself even more headroom and a little trick at the end. So I'm gonna just take the y-axis of this clip and boom. Now we effectively, you can see her hand right at the top there. So right here, this is the original clip and this is the clip we have now. You can see we've already added enough headroom. We've essentially fixed the problem. Now, for me, this wasn't quite enough. I wanted a little more headroom because I'm gonna apply this transform effect with a little bit of a zoom in to make the video more dynamic, which is just a little added extra perk of this video. So since I'm adding all these extra perks, so if this is enough for you, then great. Then be on your way, finish your project, go create the rest of your amazing videos. But if you need more headroom, let me show you how to do that real quick. So let's hop back into our nested sequence. Now, this is our top clip. We're gonna just basically take the pixels that are there and just stretch them. We're gonna type in transform. Right here on transform, you can see our scale. You could probably do this with, I think in the motion section, but I don't really ever touch that. I always use transform because it's so much easier to just turn on and off, copy and paste. I love transform. I'm gonna make a whole video on transform, but here's just a little sneak peek of transform. Have I said transform enough for you? We wanna keep uniform scale off. I'm sure there's a way to do this with the anchor point where it like perfectly scales up, but I don't even wanna deal with that. All I'm gonna do is just take the height and I'm going to stretch it like crazy. I don't know, 700, whatever works for you. And then I'm gonna take the position, I'm just gonna drag it back up. Now look at all those extra pixels. Extra pixels. Extra headroom. Holy smokes, let's zoom in again, make sure it's perfect. Boom. So now, effectively, if we play this nested sequence, you see we have this. Now it looks like a lot here, but then her hand comes in. So you can see, you probably want to stretch it a little more than you think, just in case you have that problem, because mirroring can do that. But now look at all this extra headroom we have. It looks seamless. And we did this with video because in Photoshop, it's too easy, right? It's just a click, 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 boom, boom, bang. You fixed your sky. In video, it's 24 frames per second. You better be shooting in 24 frames per second. Anyways, you get the point. I'm just rambling. Let's get back to the original timeline. So now we're taking our original sequence, the Ultra HD sequence, and we're viewing the still double height, but we've stretched the top portion of that mirrored video. So now we have so much more headroom. So now we can play with keyframing, which I'll show you in just a second, to zoom in and out, and we won't run into her hand with the mirrored hand. And we have plenty of headroom so we can reframe. This is a really easy fix. Again, here's the original clip. And here's the now fixed clip. You can see it's already way better. Now, what can we do to make this just a little more dynamic? This is the extra little perk for this video. Again, we're gonna take on this nested sequence. Boom, we're gonna add a transform. So now our transform is on this. Let me see what I did before. I think I zoomed out. By the way, if you wanna see the full video of this lifestyle California video, you can check it out in the link in the description below. So what I'm gonna do, uniform scale, I'm gonna keyframe the scale here and the position. This is how we're going to, I believe this is how we're gonna end. So I wanna end right there at 100 scale and that position. And we're going to start a little bit zoomed in. Let's go 115 just for fun. Reframe here. In fact, why don't we just let's go a little 130. Okay, so we start zoomed in at this position, and then we just keep those keyframes at the very beginning of the nested sequence. And then at the end, we just go back to neutral. We go back to 100 scale and the original position. And if you play the clip back, it looks like this. Boom. And you can see we start in a little tight and we zoom out to reveal that nice headroom. It's actually pretty smooth and creamy. I will say this only really works with pixels that are uniform. So this sky is pretty uniform. It's all about the same color. If I really Dutch angled this shot, man, this shot is Dutch angled, huh? It's like a good 45-degree Dutch angle. Sometimes you gotta add a little spice to the video. Then like if this grass or whatever was clipping and you duplicated it, it would look weird. You would see it mirroring, but because it's all uniform, it's just this nice neutral, clean, kind of like light blue, then you don't notice that what we're seeing, like, okay, so this is our extended headroom right here shot, which you wouldn't notice unless I told you or you watch this video. But let's go ahead and turn off that. I'm gonna turn it off. Just check this out for a second. You can see we added that much headroom to the piece. I hope this made sense. You can actually see what we're doing here without that one turned on. Let's turn it back on, come back out, and boom, a nice shot. And within the sequence, it looks pretty cool. Check it out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you digitally extend your headroom, increase your sky. Thank you so much for watching this video and joining me here in the cockpit for this little editing tutorial. If you like this video, you know what to do. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you drop those below. And don't forget, slap that subscribe button for me. I'll see you guys in the next video.